splashes of red in a churning sea of blue. Biggest, most difficult selection of Leo Cullen's season so far. So many talking points when the head coach named his 23 yesterday. Up front with Devon Toner still not quite ready after his ankle injury here against England. Wallaby Scott Fardy starts as one of the 2 permitted overseas players. Rhys Ruddock is captain again in the continued absence of Johnny Sexton. His leg injury means a start for Ross Byrne at 10 alongside a fit again Luke McGrath. Robbie Henshaw still missing though. Rory O'Loughlin is at inside centre, and at fullback perhaps the biggest call. Rob Kearney's fit, but he's amongst the replacements. Jordan Lama preferred as the starting fullback. Welcome news for Dan McFarland and Ulster. The availability again of second row Ian Henderson. He's recovered from the knee injury he suffered here against France in the Six Nations. Rory Best's another settling back into club surroundings after time away with Ireland, and a back row built to rampage and snaffle, including former Leinster man Geordie Murphy. John Cooney is another in a team dotted with Dubliners. He'll be looking to open windows for the likes of Jacob Stockdale, Darren Cave bringing all his experience to midfield in the absence of Will Addison. Louis Ludick is reduced to the role of spectator again by injury. So young Michael Lowry, who's enjoying his breakthrough season, starts at 15. And amongst those held in reserve, Andrew Porter and Mick Carney, who are about to play their 50th games for Leinster, and Sean Reedy, for whom this will be a 100th for Ulster. It'll be Luke Marshall's first game in a long, long time as well, but he's finally set to go again after injury on the final day of last season. So many years now, Irish rugby's standard bearers, 10 years on from their first ever Heineken Cup. Here they are, the defending champions, chasing another Champions Cup title, a record 5th European title, and the men standing in their way. Rory Best, Ireland's captain now, Ulster's captain again. A moment to savour for Ulster, a first European quarter-final for 5 years, their first ever in the Champions Cup, at a ground where 20 years ago they enjoyed their greatest moment. Is this to be another for the men in red this evening? Or will once again the story be told by the men in blue? Dress this up as club rugby in test match colours. My goodness, it feels like that tonight. Yeah, it certainly does. Great atmosphere here inside in the Aviva. An Ulster team with a big following coming down from the north, and expectations of upwards of 15,000. They're going to make themselves heard today, but the responsibility lies with their team to give them a reason to shout, and early on get them into the game. Don't let Leinster build a lead and kick into that gear that we've seen in the early parts of the competition. Before kick-off, we are just going to take a moment to pay our respects to one of rugby's great administrators in recent times, René Fontes, who has died at the age of 77. He played his part in making this tournament what it is today. He was a significant figure in French rugby and was Clermont's president as they rose to prominence. We're going to have some applause for René Fontes.
But also a key figure in the establishment of European professional club rugby. Our thoughts are with his family, friends and colleagues in Clermont. May he rest in peace.
Lots of talk about where the game's going at the moment, what it might look like in 10 years' time, 20 years' time. René Fontes definitely played his part in establishing days like today. And his compatriot, Romain Poit, blew his whistle to get this season's tournament underway. the Heineken Champions Cup, and he will blow his whistle to get us underway tonight.
Tell me which way do you go every time?
At the Aviva.
Okay.
What a canvas for the weekend's third Champions Cup quarter-final. We know it'll be Ireland against France in the last four. We don't know yet if it will be Racing or Toulouse or Leinster or Ulster. Paris tomorrow, Dublin this evening. Kick-off taken by Nick Timoney. Ulster in the red, Leinster in the blue. John Cooney, back in the town he used to call home against the club he used to call his. Ulster scrum half tonight, picked up by O'Brien. Not for long, hammered back by Ian Henderson. How big a role can Henderson play tonight for Ulster? Byrne. Step inside for O'Loughlin, Rory O'Loughlin, in the absence of Robbie Henshaw, who was part of the thousands leading the applause before kick-off. This is Ryan on halfway. Leinster probing for holes, and there's no one better than Ringrose at finding them. Ross Byrne again. Johnny Sexton sitting alongside Robbie Henshaw now. Ulster pile into the breakdown. They sense an opening here, and they've sensed more than an opening. They've got the ball back, and here's the bumper-sized McCloskey driving it on. Huge run from Coetzee, stopped in his tracks by Healy, and now Best. Right, Ulster start, Burns to Moore, now he's hit back. Test match intensity right from the off. Let's look at Michael Lowry, one of the great game's bright young lights this season. And again Henderson, Ulster pitching their tents on Leinster's 10-metre line. He's a former Leinster man, Geordie Murphy, a champion in blue last season. Burns, this is Cave, the old stager, filling in a position that's suffered its fair share of injuries this season. Best again. A lot of possession from Ulster. Now it's time for Burns to go aerial, to put a little bit of pressure on the fullback Lama. He just can't escape the clutches of Henderson, but it's a free kick.
Like referee Roman Park couldn't hear the mark called in all this noise. What an atmosphere inside the Aviva this evening. There's a fierce wind blowing left to right as we look at it, which we saw Cooney's initial box kick not making much yardage, but Ulster playing into the teeth of that wind with big ball carries to start the game.
Swift ball carriers as well in the form of Lowry. This is Coetzee, usually making up for lost time, a bucket load of injury in the first two seasons in Belfast. Henderson to Best, doesn't hold on to it for long. That's another meaty drive from Kieran Treadwell now. He's getting involved. Burns and McCloskey. Such a confident start, but it's turned over on the floor.
Very unlucky. I think was it Sean O'Brien managed, or Cian Healy got the initial turnover. Just want to have a quick look.
It's Healy, isn't it?
Time off, good.
It's actually the knock-on.
Knock-on from, yeah, I think Cronin as he went to pick up the ball, not expecting it to come out, but big moment, but they still haven't managed to completely relieve the pressure.
Listen to this noise. It is rolling around the Aviva.
McCloskey's had a big start, hasn't he? His ability to run high and get the ball over the top of the tacklers, which will mean that there's offload opportunities.
Absolutely. He's actually been very impressive for Ulster this season, but hasn't quite gotten into the international reckoning. Now another big stage. Need a big player to turn up. What an opportunity for him. No doubt Joe Schmidt is watching from the stands here, and he's going to give you the advantage line to allow your forwards to get into the game.
Ulster scrum. Cooney, the scrum half, could see at the end. They've gone the blind side, and here goes you-know-who. Here goes Stockdale. Oh, and almost as if they're magnetised. Blue Leinster shirts. They know all about the threat.
Every single time the guy gets a one-on-one, it looks as though he's going to beat his opposite defender. This time he gets isolated on Adam Burns. Brilliant little set-piece move going down the short side. And the scramble had to come across and finish the job off.
And that taken by the Leinster captain, Rhys Ruddock. Job of leading again without Johnny Sexton.
A good throw from Cronin. No toner here either. And your first line out, you don't really want to be camped on your own line.
Right, what have you been looking at?
Yeah, just really quickly, I think Leinster have to be very careful. We saw a turnover from Best there a while ago, but his players have to, or Jordan Larmour's players have to realise when he's in the front line, you've got to get someone into that backfield. There's absolutely no one there for 3, 4, 5 seconds. If that turnover is affected better, they're in trouble.
Taken up by Rory O'Loughlin.
No, back.
Burn. And now Ringrose. Up on his own little adventure. There's Georgetown. Treadwell! Northern voices in Dublin. And Ulster score first in the quarter-final.
Leinster have been looking to play out of their own 22, maybe trying to wrestle some of that momentum from the Ulstermen, but they get caught in behind the gain line and they just shovel on, and under pressure can't get the trajectory. There's a double charge down, 2 men both aiming for the foot, getting as close to the foot as possible, and then Treadwell with all his size able to get to the ball first. And once he's got it securely in his grasp, there's only going to be one result. What a start for the men from the north.
Well, the lad from Surrey, with a mum from Wexford, scores for Ulster. What a journey he's had. What a start Ulster have had here at the Aviva. And his first ever kick at the Aviva for John Cooney. This will fulfil one of his lifetime ambitions. He never kicked here in his Lansdowne days here. He never kicked here in his Leinster days. He's up and running in his Ulster days.
You have to say Ulster are full value for their 7-point lead. So Leinster being forced to kick on their own terms. Brilliant pressure, and exactly what the neutral would have wanted. An early score for Ulster. Game on.
Wonderfully taken by Stockdale. But he's dragged off the table. And that was neat Leinster defensive work, who need to rebalance. They've tended to enjoy themselves on their big days out here in the big arena up the road from the RDS. Over the last 4 seasons here in Europe, they've only lost once to Toulon. 11 wins in a row. It's a steel fortress, this, for Leinster. But it's been dented early on by the men in red. For Sean Cronin.
Just shortening to a 6-man line-up so O'Brien can go in.
There is O'Brien in the ground. Run in field from O'Loughlin, picking the angle. And Scott Fardy on the 22. Burn, and then Ringrose going around the outside. Wonderful angle that he has, and then the ability to step beyond tacklers. Eric O'Sullivan was the obvious one, but then some hefty Ulster tackles knocked them back out of the 22. Burn. All the way through for Healy, although he does rather cannon off the tackle of Henderson. Burn again, and now Lama doing his tricks, or O'Loughlin as well. Ryan. So some response from Leinster. And Fardy drives it up to within 5 metres. Luke McGrath looking for quick ball. Here goes Ryan. His knack of beating that first line of defence. Sean O'Brien was waiting. Once more McGrath, and now they go wide, and this is Lama. Then down the blind side goes the captain Ruddock.
Stay on the line, stay on the line!
Could hardly be any closer without scoring. Healy.
Stay there.
Tadhg Furlong's looking interested. Cronin likewise. O'Brien going over the top to clear the ball for Farley. Driven back by Coetzee. And then this is Cronin! Nearly managed to escape the clutches of Timoney. Not quite. But still Ulster on red alert. McGrath with Furlong calling for it. Burns waiting. Ruddock. 20 phases. Total concentration. Total efficiency, but the defence for the time being holds firm, and it was up quickly, but the spin away from Ringrose.
Brilliant defence from Stockdale, slamming the gate shut.
Byrne again screaming for it, but ball's not coming back quickly. It is McGrath and it is Byrne, and he's going on his own. What a start to this quarter-final at Shrinage.
There was just an air of inevitability about that. Leinster just had the momentum, and a couple of times you thought they're going in here, but the brave defence from Ulster. This is the move off the back of the line out. That's the direct line that gets in between two defenders with different roles, looking at different people. And then once they get on that roll, eventually it's a really nice placement of the ball, uses the strength and goes really low, keeps the leg drive, but knows that he's got that right arm reach still at his disposal. Really nice manipulation of the defender and making sure he holds all the aces.
He wouldn't have been starting this evening if Johnny Sexton hadn't pulled up in training on Thursday with that leg injury. He himself missed last weekend's Edinburgh game, a rare defeat with a foot problem, but he's good to go tonight. Just drifts to the right. However, Leinster punch back, but Ulster still leads 7-5.
Just one of the issues for Ulster is all their eyes were looking back at the breakdown, which meant they didn't have that line speed together. Just very difficult because you're trying to get the timing of the ball so that you can come out, but you have to be glancing at where the opposition is standing, where they're likely to drift on you. Almost impossible on your own line.
Start snaffled by Rhys Ruddock. Working so hard on that aspect of the game during the captain's run yesterday with his pod of lifters. And here goes Lowry. What a talent he promises to be, what a talent he already is. Coetzee.
Brilliant clear out from Marty Moore. Sean O'Brien was in for the turnover, got there late and still managed to shift the bit.
Here again, rather had to arrest his run, but still made some progress. Moore's now next in line, but it's not going to get to him because Leinster on the floor and Ruddock and Co on the floor have managed to spoon that backwards. Here is Ruddock. Socks down already in the thick of the action, Brian.
Ulster just have to be a bit careful of getting themselves caught with numbers down on the blind side with those quick secondary rucks.
Now stop there. Confidently. Lowry. Ludic starting tonight. Louis Ludic injured last weekend. Geordie Murphy, what a strange occasion this must be for him. He could nip home for tea down the road once this is all done, playing against Leinster tonight. Aaron Cave took it up through midfield, and once again it's Stockdale clocking on the right-hand side. Cooney, Henderson, standing still, assessing the threat that was posed by Cronin and a step beyond it. Billy Burns and Nick Timoney.
6 phases without really going anywhere. You need to unlock it, or maybe look to play a bit of field position.
As Geordie Murphy tried to get the ball away, he lost control. Brian, another look at the try.
Yeah, in a kind of simplified look at it, you look at Jacob Stockdale, it feels as though he's looking at getting into the passing channel. I think he might be looking for an intercept. He realises they're in trouble out wide, and it creates that dogleg, and it's the exact reason that the out half manages to get in between the two defenders and get himself over the whitewash. So a real opportunistic try from Ross Byrne, and he started the game incredibly well. 15 minutes and already on the score sheet.
And a big game for him in the context of what we saw in the Six Nations, falling behind Connacht's Jack Carty seemingly in the pecking order. He doesn't get many bigger stages than this to have a word with Joe Schmidt.
I'm being perfectly honest, he hasn't done a whole lot wrong this year. He's been very solid. He was good in rounds 5 and 6 against Wasps and Toulouse. So whenever he's come in, he's been a very able deputy for Johnny Sexton. But Jack Carty's just upped his game, and as a result has only just nudged himself into third choice fly half. But certainly on the basis of this 15 minutes, Ross Byrne is back in really good form.
Some concern here for Rory Best, which gives us an opportunity to go ahead to what else we've got this weekend. Still one more game to come in the Challenge Cup this evening on BT Sport. 6 ways, Worcester against Harlequins at 8 o'clock, and 3 more matches tomorrow. La Rochelle against Bristol, again in the Challenge Cup at lunchtime. We're spending the afternoon in Paris for Racing against Toulouse, the winners of that against the winners of this, and then tea time back in the Challenge Cup, Claremont against Northampton. All 8 quarter-final matches live with us this weekend. It's a strapping game on that left foot, but it'll take more than that to remove Rory Best from the contest. Nobody's played more European games for his province. This is his 75th. We know that his Test career is coming to an end after the World Cup. We're still not entirely sure whether he'll be playing for Ulster next season. He's playing a cagey old game with us at the moment, Rory. He is. He's good to watch. Ryan. Robert tangling with Murphy. McGrath with Conan waiting instead. It's the chase for Adam Byrne.
Brilliant.
This time Byrne gets it.
Brilliant box kick. Gave his winger every opportunity of getting up in the air.
It's a big call, isn't it?
Attacking team. Two players jumping. Got the ball in the same time. Attacking team.
It's one thing, the selection of Adam Byrne, very, very good in the air. He's probably one of the most prolific parts to his game, and the team going forward, even though it looked as though it was a 50-50 on who had ownership of the ball, because Leinster were on the front foot, the referee's given them the put in.
Well, I'm afraid the news from an Ulster perspective is not good news. For Rory Best as well, he threw his headgear away rather disconsolately, head in his hands now. And Ulster's captain has been beaten by that left ankle, and Rob Herring is on. Oh. What a blow for Ulster. Herring in the middle of that front row now.
Just looking at this setup, Nick, with Ringrose in behind, it looks as though there's going to be a little decoy showing front foot. Oh, what pressure.
It was Rob Balakoon who came up quickly.
Yeah, they just all went early. He thought the ball was not going to be controlled at the base. You can see McCloskey up there.
Not at 5.
The tackle from Balakoon. Stuart McCloskey was in the middle of all that as well. Hearing, by the way, that Ian Henderson is Ulster's captain in the absence now of Rory Best.
Just back line out. Did you understand, Michael? Just quickly, just that, but more quickly.
Yeah.
Okay, quicker. Yeah. Just about the line out setup, quicker.
Just looking back on the replay of that again, Nick, looked as though Darren Cave was the guilty party. The issue with referees seeing a dog leg like that, if you're going to cheat, you might as well cheat altogether rather than send one person out to do it on their own. It's where you get picked up.
The benefit of the breeze. Distance not an issue. Direction a little more so. This is Billy Burns. He had the opportunity to test himself against Johnny Sexton for the first time in his career, but he's got his hands full anyway, particularly with the likes of Gary Ringrose running full pelt at them. This is Scott Farley, Australian, starting in the absence of Devon Toner. Toner, by the way, not far away. Ankle injury against England at the beginning of the Six Nations. Having to try and gather the ball at the same time as deal with the bulk of McCloskey and Burns. That's been charged down by O'Brien.
Yeah, it was a really nice set-up play from Leinster. They just couldn't execute it, but tempting that outside defender to race in, and then the ball back inside. You can see they've created the angle almost perfectly. Coetzee have done well to move off and get back for it, but they still would have won that collision and got onto the front foot.
Just a little juggle, you know, they're fractions of a second that you need to actually break a defensive line of that quality. You don't have the luxury of having a second grab at it.
What?
The hooker Rob Herring has it for not much longer, however. Cooney hoists it high. That's got a lot of height on it, and Stockdale had a bag of time to get up there with Adam Byrne. Stockdale brings it down on the red side. What
a take from Stockdale. Great battle between those two.
Cooney, Burns, driving it on and then being dragged through. Lowry. We have some serious steppers on the pitch today. Lowry's one of them. Cooney. And then the try scorer, Treadwell. Wonderful battle for the ball on the floor. We knew it would be, and Healy's over the top of it, but he was over the top with his hands on the floor illegally.
Well, I'm not actually sure that Rowan Poit has penalised Healy.
I'm not sure about your entry.
But Healy's entry was totally from the side. But the first defence was hands on the floor beforehand. But you can see.
Is he saying that there's no ruck being formed? Is that the only? Is that the
no,
only?
He said I wasn't sure of your entry. But he'd already given the decision.
Keane Healy starting today. Ed Byrne on the bench. All sorts of talk about Jack McGrath and whether he'll be an Ulster player next season. I think we can assume that he is going to be. How much that played a part in Leo Cullen's selection, we do not know. But Jack McGrath's watching this like the rest of us tonight. Between the posts, 2 out of 2 for John Cooney. Leinster 5, Ulster 10. Let's have a chat with Dwayne Peel, Ulster's backs coach. So far, so good, Dwayne.
Yeah, obviously it's highly competitive here. I think that you know, when we keep hold of the ball, that's the important thing for us. You know, and they've been good at the contact area and come after us a bit. So it's important. Our speed to contact is good, and we deny them possession that way.
How ambitious are you in these kinds of areas, clearing your 22? How ambitious are you going to be allowed to be, do you think?
I think it's about being, you know, playing what we see. Really, obviously, we don't want to be too risky in that area. It's about clearing our lines and putting them under pressure in their area, really.
And any news on Rory, a blow you could have done without early on, losing your skipper?
Yeah, obviously disappointing for Rory. You know, I'm not sure. I think it's a bit of an ankle twist, but we're lucky we got Rob on the bench, who's a fantastic player.
Good man, Rob. Thank you.
Thank you.
Line out one by Ryan, and picked up by Scott Farley, who drives it forward. This is Byrne. That's nicely done. Wonderful from Cronin. Held on to by Cave, and that was important, and he extricates himself carefully. Keen not to concede the penalty, however, Ian Henderson did. He was offside.
Brian picked out Sean Cronin and his ability in those wide channels early on when the rest of the forwards were driving the line out. He was stood off ready to impart that acceleration that he brings to the game, and as it comes into the wide channel, he's back on the inside. It's Coach Sear there, can't hold on to him, just gives himself too much to do. Cronin staying as close as he can, making sure that when that pass comes, he's got all the advantage to get over the gain line and get through that tackle.
It's an interesting selection here. We saw earlier on in the day Edinburgh ruining the opportunity to go for goal and pick up 3 pointers. Leinster have decided the same, looking for a maximum 7.
You were saying at the time, Brian, that in big European matches like this, you take your points.
I don't understand it, you know, particularly the very kickable ones when you have line-out overthrows like that.
And walloped away by Billy Burns. And all the way back in his own half, it's Dave Carney. James Lowe, the unlucky overseas player to miss out today, but in Carney, they have quality on the left wing. Away quickly by Conan. Oh, and then Ringrose chopped in half by Cave, but we are coming back. Ulster voices raised in hope, but there will be Ulster frustration in a minute. Michael Lowry thought he'd dance through for one of his great career tries, but referee's whistle had gone a little earlier.
Yeah, clear knock-on. A little bit of thought that maybe this could be a deliberate knock-on. Knew exactly what he was doing, but the referee gives him the benefit of the doubt. That's that hand going out. Coach Sear definitely knows what he's doing. He's leading with the left arm. And then they can't utilise the advantage, so we come back for the scrum.
It's that moment in time when it slows down, when you realise you get a high pass from someone, you know you have to get rid of it really quickly, and you open your rib cage up for the shot. It's a nervous time.
Ulster scored the first try through Kieran Treadwell. Rossburn got one back for Leinster, but it's Ulster still with their noses ahead, but they're having to defend here. And once again, Darren Cave in the centre of that defensive effort. Such a stalwart for Ulster. Roddick. McGrath. Fardy. And then the bursting run. That's gone forward now.
for Leinster, this game is all about accuracy, because you can hear what effect on the crowd and the Ulster players every time they make a mistake. It's just lifting a team that has come here in a lot of people's minds as underdogs.
Just having another quick look, Ben, at this backs move. I haven't seen that one played since about 2011, but brilliant to see ingenuity of a new play that's rehashed and almost breaking the line through. Really, it's a little switch play, and then behind the 13 to the blind winger.
If that goes across the face there, back to Byrne, he's in the open. Would the coaches be looking at that now, Brian, and at half-time maybe relaying that message? Look, they're stepping in.
They absolutely should be. The thing is, now that Ulster have seen it once as well, do they now overread it as well and think, again, it's, or look at the option. In fairness to McCluskey, I think it is, or is it, it's Cave. He reads it brilliantly well. He has ring rows until the ball goes behind him and then picks up the winger. So terrific defence from him, and he got a bloody nose for his troubles.
It is one of the great weekends in the calendar, isn't it? This European quarter-final. It might be the greatest weekend in the calendar. Six Nations might have something to say about it, but so many sides dreaming so many dreams, and thousands of supporters around the British Isles and around Ireland dreaming those dreams as well, Brian.
Well, you've got 8 really good quality teams, and you're going to see some great rugby, and to go back to back today and then still have a game of the magnitude of Racing and Toulouse to look forward to tomorrow is a real treat.
Darren Cave's back with us. He recovered from his own bang to the ribs last week. They beat the Southern Kings at the Kingspan. And by the way, that Will Anderson has had a back operation which will keep him out for the rest of the season. Wants to reshuffling in midfield. Here's Coetzee, who thankfully is over his injuries, but didn't make much ground there.
They did really well to hold him up, having tipped him. They didn't let him drop to the ground, and that saved any sort of disciplinary.
Burns. Lowry leading the chase. Balakoon's not far away now. Ulster making sure they get that red line in position, and away by Lama.
Great adjustment from Adam Byrne. He was going into the front line, but then realised that space was back there left by his full-back and retreated back and claimed a great kick.
Really interesting. We talked about it a lot during the Six Nations, but the role of the wingers these days and how you cover that space behind the kick. Sometimes we saw fullbacks exposed in a couple of matches, a couple of big games, but it's not just about the wingers anymore. There's the scrum halves and the fly halves. Everybody has a role to cover that.
And an awful lot of what's happening now is the kicker is actually chasing their own kick, so therefore you leave a vulnerability in the backfield. Wingers these days in the systems are playing much higher to add pressure, and that's why we're looking at introducing that 50-22 rule that World Rugby have touted as being a viable opportunity to make sure that they can drop a little bit more, cover the backfield, and so there isn't as much aggressive inline speed in the front line.
Yes, that idea that you can kick the ball from your own half, and if it bounces in the 22, it can bounce out and you get the throw. Sean Cronin has it for Leinster, who still have work to do behind as they are. Reaching the final 10 minutes of what has been an energetic first half here in Dublin. That ball's being lost, but quite clear enough.
Ulster going so hard at Leinster's breakdown. They know it's vital that they try and take that momentum out of the boys in blue. We saw when they got their first try what a tidal wave that can be. I think he's a little bit harsh there, isn't he?
I think Leo Cullen's just won the battle this week.
Wasn't it interesting yesterday to hear Leo Cullen say, unprompted, I hope that Romain Poit has a look at Marcel Coetzee and his elbows tomorrow.
It's a marginal one, in fairness. I think he is going down when the ball does come back. He loses his footing, but there's no doubt he's got in a really strong position. Interested to hear what the actual penalty was for. Was it for elbows down, or was it for being off his feet.
He said he was never on his feet, I think.
Leinster 8, Ulster 10.
Penalty for Leinster scored by number 10, Ross Miller.
Keep that cross, but just a number from
Leinster 8, Ulster 10.
And his replacement's doing all right at the moment. There's the restart into the 22.
Stop!
Away by Ringrose. That's some very good distance. Let's again remind you that Leinster are playing with the considerable wind in this first half.
Here you are, dude. Stay there, Blue, stay there.
Added to his collection of international caps here, moving into the USA back in November. And the introduction for the injured Rory Best today. Rising highest and snapped away by Treadwell. Burns, and that was neatly done by Timoney. He was under a lot of pressure, but ball wasn't collected cleanly.
That's brilliant defence from McLaughlin. Not getting caught out by the decoy runner. Great strength from McCloskey, but McLaughlin just enough to dislodge the ball. Look, doesn't get caught, keeps going forward, catches McCloskey. Great fend from the big Ulster centre, who just rips the ball on the way down.
Yeah, in some referees' minds, that ripping of the ball is play on if it happens by the defensive team, who was clearly
Absolutely.
He got his arm in
back
there and ripped it out. So surely that isn't considered to be a knock on these days.
Robbie Henshaw, by the way, is training again. His dead leg, he hasn't played since England, but it won't be long before he's back on the pitch.
It's the longest dead leg that I've ever heard of, but we're wishing him well.
Leinster with the nudge on at the scrum. They've got more than that. They've won the penalty. And, with that advantage. Cleared away by McGrath, and the chip over the top and gathered in brilliantly, and Carney's nearly there. So close.
Good contest, we come back.
But we are coming back for the original penalty.
Yeah, it would have been a penalty for Ulster for holding on in that wide channel. Big scrum from Leinster, though. See, once they get the shove on, Geordie Murphy actually pops up on the far side, ready to come and defend, and then has to go back in. So they're short of numbers. They wheel all the back row away, and then with the advantage, they're off and playing. And a shot to nothing. Used the kick early, kick into the corner. Balakoon has to step in, has to stay connected to his defensive line on a good flat kick, but they do really well to get back and prevent what would have been a try. But Leinster should pick up the 3 points.
In fairness to Balakoon, he got quite narrow in defence, but what a reaction to get back and then make a very important tackle, swivel around and not give up what looked like a certain try. Still an opportunity for Leinster to keep that scoreboard ticking over.
Even more than that, opportunity to take the lead for the first time in the quarter-final. Bright early on, Leinster the brightest more recently, and they're ahead for the first time, 11-10.
Just from what happened in the first few minutes, it was all Ulster with possession. Leinster have now had 58% of the possession, so Ulster could really do with some ball in hand, playing in the right areas of the field.
Then Burns goes right, kicks out on this occasion. Ringrose.
Outside.
O'Brien. Not many Leinster days like this left for Sean O'Brien. He's heading to London and London Irish next season. Anderson looking to make life difficult for McGrath, but he got the ball away and taken in confidently again by Lowry. I remember throwing him at full-back on the opening weekend against Leicester. Came through that well.
Player slowing down, number 6 on the ground.
Burns and Treadwell.
Still in control.
Sniping around. Off the floor into the arms of Cave. Coetzee. First time in a while that Ulster, ball in hand, have started to ask a few questions of their own. Herring. Burns was calling for it. It's McCloskey. Timoney. Taken on by Healy, and then charge through once more from Coetzee, and Burns again, and swinging tackle effective by Jack Conan. Phase-wise, it's as fluid as Ulster have been. Penalty coming, conceded by Sean O'Brien. McCloskey, this is a kick to nothing, looking for Balakoon. He gathered it just around the time that Leinster's defence was getting up quickly, but they've got the penalty.
Very, very effective kick as well from McCloskey. They knew they had the penalty advantage to come back for. What a take from Lowry. He's been a real live wire anytime he's gotten his hands on the ball. And again, John Cooney looking very busy in and around the ruck. Culminating in a good tackle across from Luke McGrath covering in the backfield, but that penalty advantage will go back and Ulster should restore the lead.
Just tactically a very contrasting style in how they're defending. Leinster are hardly putting anyone in the breakdown, trying to keep as many bodies on the feet as possible unless they get the opportunity to make a turnover. Ulster, on the other hand, are trying to snarl up every single Leinster breakdown. So although Ulster are getting quicker ball, when they get into those wide channels, there's plenty of cover. If Leinster do manage to get quick ball, Ulster a little bit short in those wide channels because they've committed to the breakdown.
A little bit of what Bath did to Leinster in the pool stages. Leinster's lead not lasting long. Bearing down on half-time. Ulster restore their advantage. Leinster 11, Ulster 30.
Well, we mentioned, didn't we? All they needed was a bit of ball in the right areas of the field, put pressure on the opposition, and then take your points when they're on offer. That's the blueprint. They can't get caught playing too much rugby in the middle of the field, turning it over and giving Leinster a chance to come back at them.
Carney Herring after the restart.
Leinster really should have identified that a bit earlier. Also a very vulnerable one man in the ruck.
And that went Lama. But it's Ulster's to play with, and Cooney's to clear away.
All the Leinster players saying that there was here's the counter up, saying that from this kick, really nice from Ryan, there was a little bit of argy-bargy on the floor, but it wasn't in the air, it was just owning the space by Balakoon.
Take the middle, fine.
On a few seconds of the first half. Beyond O'Brien to O'Loughlin. Picked up by Conan, and this is Ryan. Coming the other way. to pick out Ringrose. McGrath, Kean Healy, Burke, again, threat being posed by Rory O'Loughlin. Ryan once more. Cronin's not far away, but instead it's Healy first and foremost. Byrne. That's nicely done by Adam Byrne.
Rory O'Loughlin is really struggling down here on this right wing. Looks like he's picked up a dead leg.
Ross Byrne. Now Lama. He was there to make sure he got no further. And then Murphy cleared out of a potentially perilous situation. James Ryan. And he's hit back by his opposite number, Treadwell. Once more, the speed that Cave was up. He's absolutely Ulster's gatekeeper defensively in midfield. O'Brien. Time up. Going a long way at the end of this first half, but on we go. We go on for as long as Leinster go on.
Thank you.
McCloskey has to let go. O'Brien. Ulster one last defensive set to protect the lead that they've established in this first period. That ball's been lost. It was Adam Byrne who took it on, and that will do. What a first 40 minutes, what noise, what drama. And the champions behind at the break. Half-time at the Aviva. Leinster 11, Ulster 13.
Let's hear it for Leinster!
Well, Ulster arrived here feeling pretty good about themselves. Like Leinster, only beaten once in 2019, and they've only conceded 10 tries now in the last 6 and a bit games. And those two in midfield, Darren Cave, Stuart McCloskey, weighing in with 20 tackles between them, 10 each.
McCloskey was huge in the first half, but right at the end he picked up a hip injury. So keep a watch on him, just make sure that he's managed to get some treatment at half-time and he can run it off in the first few minutes of this second half.
Here we go, Red.
There's that Ulster defence drilled these days by Jared Payne. Set for another hefty shift. Oh, that shot down as well, and Herring's chasing after it, Herring after it, but not quite. Goodness me.
Ringrose again. He's been the one that's been picking up a lot of those kickoffs, everything down into that channel, and I think he might have learned from the trajectory of the first one.
Just when it kicks up at the end here, it just kicks up slightly too late. That last bounce, if it had been a couple of metres earlier, it really would have given Herring a chance.
We're hearing of a Leinster change at half-time, a late change. Noel Reid is on for Rory O'Loughlin at inside centre. We'll try and get to the bottom of that in a moment. Goes Ian Henderson. We're hearing it's a dead leg, and picked up by O'Loughlin.
No, 7, thank you.
There's Marty Moore. Cooney. Burns. And the charging run from Rob Herring.
Burns does that so well. He drifts across the line. Looks like he's going to throw it behind the runner that's coming, using him as a decoy, and at last minute gives it. More often than not, that first runner wins the collision.
Burns once more, and here's Henderson. First time we've seen him since he hurt his knee against France here in the Six Nations. Burns aerial, a test for Ross Byrne. Got the ball. 2 or 3 red shirts as well.
And a brilliant kick from Burns. Not much that could be done there to get out of the trouble, but Leinster have rescued it really well.
Luke McGrath barking out the instructions. Henderson eventually has to leave by the back door. Well, this will come down on halfway. Oh, not gathered cleanly by Rob Ballacoon.
There's no one down that wing from Ballacoon, and that's been spotted by Luke McGrath. Unfortunately, it's Tadhg Furlong is the one that's chasing.
Ballacoon has to go down a long way, and pulled up still inside his 22. Murphy.
Oh, Furlong did brilliantly because he's forced him back towards the touchline, tied him in there so that the Leinster support could get there. Now this will come back to the Leinster side.
And Cooney finally into touch. And this was a hairy moment for Rob Ballacoon.
The first time, that was great, and I thank you for that.
He was the one that got caught into the challenge and was out of position, and unfortunately for Leinster, it was the tight head prop. It was the one that was chasing down the kick, but as Ben said, he angled him into the corner and forced the cavalry to come and make that collision, and now they've won the subsequent line-out.
However, that was not as accurate as it needed to be from Sean Cronin.
Use that red.
Second line-out that's gone a-begging. Cooney under some pressure from Fardy.
Yeah, Fardy had counter-rucked and gone through the ruck, but the ruck was still formed. And when the ball came out, he just couldn't resist having a little go at the charge down.
Burns into touch, they'll have the throw. So Noel Reid into Leinster's midfield. Was that feeling that O'Loughlin, Brian, just adds a little bit more physicality?
Yeah, he does. Noel Reid's a very good passer of the ball, you know, nice playmaker as a second distributor, but just definitely doesn't give gain line like O'Loughlin does.
He's being tested at the moment. Hold on gamely, Treadwell. There's Jordy Murphy, champion last season.
Leinster very narrow on the left as well, Nick.
And here goes Stockdale dancing his way through. Oh, he's going to do it! Stockdale once more! In Ireland green or in Ulster red, it matters not. Jacob Stockdale has perforated Leinster's defence.
We cannot award this try, please. Just about the grounding at the end.
I just want to look at the grounding. What a finish if he gets it down.
The TMO is Denny Gromwier. We're just going to have another look at the grounding. Just a suspicion that Jacob Stockdale might not have put this down cleanly.
No, it doesn't. There's clear daylight between his fingers and the ball.
On va le voir ici. Attends, on a d'autres images. Là.
I think there is from the other angle.
La première.
His hands are almost behind the ball.
Ouais, on va la mettre.
I think it's that first angle that certainly looked worse. What you don't see is his fingers bending back at all to suggest there's any pressure of the ball coming back against them.
Oui, ça arrive.
Romain Poel wants to have a look at that first angle.
Moi, pour moi aussi, perd le contrôle. Regarde ici, Romain. Il a plus le contrôle, il attaque pas. En avant pour moi.
What do you reckon, Brian?
I think it's an off-run, but what I don't understand is why isn't he diving?
En avant.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ball lost forward, but that was an open goal.
You can't get over the whitewash like that and not get the ball down. Like he's almost 2 meters over. Make sure, run the risk of winding yourself with the ball stuck in your gut, but that is not a bad outcome when you're guaranteeing 5 points and possibly 7.
huge let-off for the champions.
What a moment. They've still got to get out of here. Coffin corner. Very difficult with the scrum half putting the ball in on this side to then try and get any momentum to clear your lines. Much better on the other side of the field.
Well, they're definitely going to look probably to break open field and create a little bit of an angle for themselves rather than kicking immediately from the base.
It's having to be controlled by Jack Goonan, and he did it very well and gave his mates a little bit further ahead. Time to win the penalty.
That was, as they said, that will have been in everyone's mind. This is what we're going for. The best way to get out of here is to use our British and Irish Lions prop to anchor that scrum on the far side and then really attack.
Captain? Thank you.
Oh my goodness, what a moment. What a moment. If Ulster don't win this now, he should have scored his 7th European try.
Brian called how narrow Leinster were on that blind side, and the ball just had to go across the face. He did so well to get that opportunity. He's almost caught in two minds as to what to do with the finish point.
It was actually an incredible line from Robert Balakoon that actually sits Dave Carney and gives Stockdale the corner, but he still had a huge amount of work to do. I was wrong. It was 5 metres in the in-goal area by the time he tried to get the ball down.
You had your head in your hands when we were watching that replay again. Oh my goodness, how painful is that? Anyway, Leinster reprieve. And again, the scrap for the ball in the dark, shadowy places. Here's Ruddock, bulkiest and most reliable of Leinster bolts. McGrath. Leinster now playing into that breeze that we talked about in the first half, and some redemption for Stockdale. This is Murphy.
Stay 9.
Burns. And now Lama took it well, but Balakoon was on him in a flash.
Another great kick from Burns. Isolated Dave Carney, did very well to take the kick and wait for support to arrive.
Use it.
Conan. Still going. Darren Cave gets back to his feet a little bit groggily.
Big units out there.
Oh, this is Lama. Tyke Furlong battling for the ball with Henry. Byrne. Ringrose. He's held up by McCloskey. More tackling for that Ulster midfield.
Another great hit from Darren Cave. He's reading things so well.
Getting that line speed still really, really good. And they get the turnover.
Went forward as Noel Reid failed to make the connection. Timoney. Dyack or Henry or Daisel in the back row. These days it's the new guard, led by the likes of Nick Timoney. Burns, cute. O'Brien gets there first, however, but on him quickly is McCloskey. Carney. No Rob Carney today, but Dave Carney a starter. His brother on the bench. Healy. Takes on former Leinsterman Marty Moore. Ruddock.
Oh, great pass.
He finds Cronin and held on to it. He knew that Byrne would be in a difficult situation had he taken that pass. Instead it's O'Brien with a little bit more room to manoeuvre in.
A lot more intensity from Leinster, starting to win some of the collisions before that one.
That is a huge hit.
Reid, that's rebounded off Treadwell, and now he's got a bit of sweeping up to do, and Treadwell smothers him in a red blanket. He did well to get that back.
A lot of ball in play. There's going to be fatigue creeping in now.
Furlong, a little trundle. O'Brien. And Vardy and Conan all neatly done, and now Cronin, and Burns to the right-hand side, and Cronin was looking for it. Instead, Burns part of the clear-out mob. This is Vardy and O'Brien. Leinster just toe on the accelerator here with James Ryan. McGrath, Healy stepping over the attempted tackle of Billy Burns. Byrne escaping the clutches of O'Sullivan. And once more, Ulster work on the floor.
Brilliant break from Leinster, but some amazing defence from Ulster, forcing Leinster to go hunting back inside. There's the initial carry-up. I think it's O'Sullivan, is it, that flies out of the line and forces Byrne back into where the traffic is, and there's no support there. Cian Healy's picked up a bang. But Ulster were in real trouble out wide. Had he not jammed in there, he would have been caught in a centre's defending role. He's forced them back inside where all his cavalry were, and they've come up with a turnover. Big moment, big moment.
First season after leaving Scotland behind, he's guided Ulster into the last 8 in Europe for the first time in a while. To the brink of the Pro 14 playoffs as well. He'll be able to offer support from the touchline, the captain. A couple of changes, by the way. Dan Levy has come into Leinster's back row for Sean O'Brien, and Marcel Coetzee, the number 8, has run his course, and Sean Reedy is on for his 100th Ulster game. Coach is perhaps aware of what you were talking about. It's a high-intensity game. They've got to look after the lungs and the muscles.
Absolutely, and it's that timing of when to bring on those fresh legs. It's a big call, though, isn't it? Because Coetzee having a huge impact in midfield with his tackles and his ball carries.
Just 10 minutes or so into the second half, Stockdale.
What I love about Stockdale, he's obviously got the disappointment of bombing that try, but he's looked exceptional since then. He hasn't gone into his shell. Mark of a champion, resilience.
How well did Carney do to evade the clutches of Balakoon?
Did brilliantly. Nothing on except to step in and take the collision. Recycle ball for the next phase.
Trucked up by Ryan initially, and now Byrne, and now Conan. Murphy was on the floor thinking that there was ball there to be won back, but Leinster had other ideas. Ring rose to Cronin, who's becoming a little bit more apparent in the loose. Sean Cronin, the Leinster hooker. Oh, and now the Leinster number 8, Jack Conan, goes through a big hole. Climbing over the top of the hill, he can get it away. There might be a try here. Adam Byrne! A big forward through the middle. A live winger on the outside. Leinster ahead again.
Definite change in tactics from Leinster. They've spotted that Ulster are losing bodies on the floor in and around the breakdown, and they've gone to their pick and go game. Ulster trying to put bodies in the defensive line, but look around that breakdown. They're lazy, they're not into position early enough, some of that fatigue creeping in. What a break that is. And to pick out the last defender of Stockdale and still get the offload away. Look at that, that's really smart. Even got time to pull his shorts back up on the way. Takes 2 defenders out and releases it to the pace on the outside.
It's a wonderful run from Conan not that long ago when Les Kiss tried to tempt him north to play for Ulster, and his pass to Byrne. Enjoying more Champions Cup game time this season, Byrne, and he's a scorer in the quarter-final. Well, that's potentially a 14-point swing. Ulster should have scored a try. Leinster have, and they now lead by 5.
It's the timing as well as he comes in, doesn't have to break his stride too much. He spotted the opportunity.
He was conscious that he was losing his shorts as well. He even had time to pull them up as he went for a little offload to Adam Byrne, who's in a great support line.
Michael Lowry, what magic can he produce, the youngster? And Treadwell. Ulster change in the front row, by the way. Marty Moore's been replaced by Vian Herbst. This is Rob Herring. Marty Moore, incidentally, 17 tackles against his old Leinster mates. That move from Wasps to Ulster has worked very well for Marty Moore. And now Ulster via Cooney trying to break themselves.
Brilliant cover from Fardy. From the wrong side of the breakdown, spotted the problem, swept around the corner.
Burns.
Leinster a bit more vigilant on that left side. Quick ruck ball. They managed to realign better than they did from that Stockdale no try.
If he just pops it up for Herbst. Beyond Treadwell to Henderson. And then Lowry scampers away, but not for long. Look how much Ian Henderson's got left in the tank. Not played much recently. And he's worked so hard over the first 56 minutes. He's going to be involved again here. Another takes the ball standing still. Ulster have Alan O'Connor as the second row replacement on the bench.
Hasn't lost any of its ferocity. Nearly an hour into the game and they're going at it like it's just kicked off.
Leinster have increased their defensive appetite as well, haven't they? Maybe just spotting the opportunity to go for the jugular here after that try.
Balakoon. Was asking a little bit too much of Carney, and Balakoon's picked it up, and he's a tricky old customer when he gets going, and that was huge from Lama. The try again, Brian.
Yeah, good players see things ahead of time. You get the sense that Jack Conan, as he comes to that ruck, he's doing nothing else other than picking and jamming. Leinster want to be more direct, that's why they've been effective. But look at the trail line as well from Adam Byrne. He interprets that it's going to be a line break and gets there. 9 times out of 10 that pass doesn't go to him, but on the 10th one you get a vital try, and that's the difference between these two teams right now.
Number 16, James Tracy, replacing number 2, Sean Cronin. Number 17, Ed Byrne, replacing number 1, Keane.
That's Sean Cronin down on the floor.
Just this last tackle from Larmour. It's a really nice bit of play from Balakoon. But just look at the fact that they have to go high to stop the offload. If they go low, that ball gets put back on the inside. But because he's up high, around ball height, there's no way that Balakoon can get the ball in. Really good tackle, hit him with force, got him over the whitewash.
Luke Marshall's about to come on for Ulster. It would be some story if he can make an impact. First time we've seen him this season.
It's a great maul setup. from Ulster. Leinster just dropping it at the front there.
There's Balakoon. Jamison Gibson Park, as you can see, has come on for Luke McGrath, and another one of the replacements, Dan Levy, coming in with one of the big hits, and it's stolen away by Ty Furlong, who fancied himself as Johnny Sexton. He gets it beyond the 10-metre line. Gibson Park scraping over the top of that ball. It's Herring.
Ulster's shape has been so good, they just need to make sure that they don't resort back to one-out runners, because it'll be easy picking for Leinster. They have to have multiple options off phase play, off their 9 or off their 10. Keep Leinster defensive system guessing.
It's James Tracy who's on for Cronin. And once more, Ryan.
José Bleu.
Finding much distance as Jamison Gibson kicked against the wind. Cooney decided to hold on to it with Levy having a look around, so Cooney stakes it up to the halfway line. Murphy, Herring was offering himself, Murphy holds on. And the big clear-out job with Treadwell and co. Bjorn Hertz was there as well. Burns looking for some space. Well, that is really nicely collected by Jordan Lama.
Called a mark, but he soon realised he was a yard outside the 22 and wasn't going to get any love from the referee.
We are outside. Use it, you're outside.
Gibson Park taking all the time in the world. Henderson still fishing away, looking for potential charge downs, wonderfully taken by the try scorer Byrne. Into the final quarter of what has been a tumultuous contest. Now Byrne goes high, he looks like he's limping a little bit, maybe a little bit of cramp for him. Burns to Stockdale.
Space in the middle.
Looks for it, watch the bounce like it's kind. Stockdale once again on his red bike. Herbs.
Leinster down numbers here. Oh, I don't know if that was the option to go for.
Well, Balakoon will try and make life as uncomfortable as possible for Lama. Who is cool as anything, fires it back up to halfway, but Burns. Lowry, where's he off to? Held on to by Tracy and co. Conan was there also defensively. This is Herring.
Oh, how well's Herring done? Because he was isolated. If he'd just hit that up, could well have been a turnover opportunity. Great footwork.
Treadwell. The intensity hasn't dropped from the first whistle. It is astonishing. And here we go again once more with Reedy. 100th game for Ulster tonight. Burns, Levy was up very quickly, but Treadwell. McCloskey. Cooney, Murphy, Burns. Once more Sean Reedy, powerful, determined, flinty back rower, having what he can have now. Leinster, a man down, it looks like Dan Levy's hurt himself, so there will be a hole somewhere in this defensive line, and Ulster win the penalty.
Never attempt for the ball. Just worrying the ball.
Captain's decision, Brian. Take the points.
Take the points.
Keep the pressure on. You're eating away at your lead.
18 minutes to go. 5 points behind. Kick the goal. And back yourselves to get, at least one more opportunity. It's an eternity in a game of this intensity.
As you get it, I mean, we've still got loads of time, as you said, but even so, take the points. It totally changes how Leinster can defend. The leery get to the end of the game, Leicester can throw people into the breakdown knowing that the referee might give a penalty, but it's no use.
Sean O'Brien wandering around, and in the meantime here comes Luke Marshall as Ulster voices ring around. Nick Carney's preparing to come along, and there's Luke Marshall, best part of a year since he last played the knee injury right at the end of last season against the Ospreys. And what a welcoming committee, and what a contest to come back into.
In fairness, Darren Cave has absolutely tackled his heart out in this game. What an hour he put in. But great to see Luke Marshall back in the mix again. A lot of lonely moments, rehabbing on your own. And
I think Sean O'Brien was seeing if he could come back on, but it's an injury, it's not a head injury. All blood, so I think they've just had to...
I'm not sure what
Nick Carney's come on, so he'll probably, I'd imagine, go into the second row. Fardy move into the back row.
Oh, you have to feel for poor Dan Levy. Doesn't look like a good one. You could see that he was holding his head immediately.
We're hearing, by the way, that poor old Dan Levy has suffered an horrific knee injury, which we're not inclined to show you again on replay, but take it from us, it's horrible.
Yeah, complete hyperextension.
Concern etched on the face of Leo Cullen. Felipe Contepomi as well in the background, the work that he's done this season, coming back to Leinster as the backs coach these days, first season back. Dan Levy up and running again last weekend. An hour's work in the bank against Edinburgh, but he's not been on long after coming on as a replacement here. Just a reminder, all 8 European quarterfinals live with us this weekend. Champions Cup, Challenge Cup. Still in the Challenge Cup tonight. Worcester against Quins at Sixways at 8 o'clock, and the 3 matches tomorrow. Spend your Sunday with us if you're so inclined. At lunchtime, west coast of France, La Rochelle against Bristol in the Challenge Cup. Afternoon in the capital, Racing against Toulouse under the roof, and that's Space Age Arena. What a game that's going to be. Winner of that against the winner of this, and then maybe some tea time biscuits back in the Challenge Cup for Claremont against Northampton.
It's difficult. Well, obviously we wish Dan Levy all the best and hope it's not as bad as it first looks. It's difficult for the players that are still out there, because the intensity has been so high. You then have a massive long break, and it can take a bit of the sting out of the game. It's freezing here at the Aviva. Some of the backs just running through some warm-up drills, trying to keep warm. Just mentally, how do you stay on the page?
Yeah, I'm wondering, does this have an impact as well on your decision-making process as captain? You know, because the momentum is gone, does that negate the fact that you're less likely perhaps to push a team over in the corner and you kick the goal?
The applause, and everybody out of their seats. Leinster fans and Ulster fans. Ulster fans absolutely understand the contribution to Irish rugby that Dan Levy's made, continues to make, but oh dear, well, it's a long way away, but inevitably with the World Cup over the hill, you fear for players like Dan Levy with injuries like that. He leaves the field with the best wishes of everybody.
There's your decision, Ben. Into the corner. We don't feel as though this thing has been taken out of their attack. They're going to win this. They need to score tries.
Or maybe try and catch the opposition cold with your setup of your drive. Their last setup of the drive was perfect, and Leinster actually lost a lot of bodies on the floor. If they'd driven over, they could have given a penalty.
They go to the back, where it's picked up by Henderson, and Murphy running into midfield, had to concede a couple of metres. They come with Herring. Cooney has it quickly. All about the speed of the presentation now, and Henderson lays it back securely. Murphy once more tackled by the new man, Mick Carney. Eric O'Sullivan turning out for Banbridge in the All-Ireland League last season. Now look where he is. And McCloskey trying to use his bulk. Herbst. And once more it's the loose head O'Sullivan. Burns. And then over the top into the arms of Stockdale. He's been in this position once or twice before this evening. And now Murphy. O'Sullivan again. He's been busy in this latest thrust forward. McCluskey looks interested once more, and he lays it back, and Burns, and it's opening up for Marshall. You don't write fairy tales like this. First game of the season. First few minutes of Luke Marshall's season. Back in the best of fashions. How big might this moment be?
Oh, that's brilliant, and it's made by the pass from McCloskey. It is a worldie. Takes it right to the line at the last minute. Pulls it back, drags in two defenders with his dummy. That creates the hole. It still takes some finishing, but look at this pass. In they both step. And the Ulster fans are delirious. Just that little pump pass to hold the midfield defence of the Blues. And then just getting that point of the ball down, using all his body weight to secure the try.
Darkest moments and his most lonely moments, as Brian talked about, he wondered if his career was over. It isn't, and he's scoring again on the biggest of stages. Luke Marshall. John Cooney's first miss of the day means we are locked level with 15 minutes to go at the Aviva. And Ross Byrne with the restart, he doesn't look comfortable either. He's hobbling around at the moment as well.
Music 9.
They've already brought on Noel Reid. Rob Carney remains an option. And frustratingly for Lama, they have to go backwards again.
Well, when the flow's with you, when everything's going your way, you've got to take advantage. As every little bounce is going Ulster's way at the moment.
Leinster are making it. A change.
What a game this has been.
Replacing for Leinster, number 18, Andrew Porter. Replacing number 3, Ty Furlong.
Andrew Porter is on, 50th game. It's Leinster penalty.
Yeah, Jordy Murphy feeling as though he was going for a 50-50 ball and got himself trapped in there. James Tracy wasn't able to get it back. As a result, Roman Pott had to give the penalty against the former Leinsterman.
Let's have a chat with John Fogarty. Where's this going, John? I wouldn't want to be in your shoes at the moment. This is just epic, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it is. It's a lot of pressure on the pitch at the moment. You know, we've been. It feels like we've been in our own half for the whole of this half. So the small things make a big difference now.
Have you moved a little bit more to a pick and go game? Certainly that try with Conan bursting through suggested that.
Fortunately, I'm not hearing anything at the moment.
We'll let you go, John. You've got other things to worry about.
Not surprised. I'm struggling to hear anything at the moment. Fans are so excited. McGrath to Reid.
This is Tracy. And Nick Carney. First game in Europe this season for the second row. Here's Porter. Both of those two in their 50th games for the province tonight. Tracy. Leinster looking to establish some position that might garner more points, and again almost on one leg. Byrne hoists that high. Pressure, but it's been won by Lama, but not cleanly.
I tell you, it's Ross Byrne in the backfield with cramp.
Taken out by Herbst.
Doesn't look like Byrne's going to be able to continue, does it? Will they bring Carney on?
Well, they're going to
Reed to 10 and put Larmour
into 13. So everyone has to move in one position now. It doesn't look good for Ross Byrne at all.
Just have a look at the reaction. He's bouncing around.
It's every time he kicks it, he cramps up.
It looks like he's determined to stay on.
Down below, Rob Kearney has only just gotten himself up off the bench, as he feels as though number 10 is going to continue.
Slight delay because Eric O'Sullivan has gone down injured. It's not a quiet game, this, is it? It's not a quiet one. We didn't expect it to be, but it isn't.
It doesn't look like an overly happy coach's box either, you know. They realise they have an absolute battle on their hands. Of the two coaching tickets, those two should be the happier ones. Their team have been exceptionally good today. Really put it to Leinster. And now it hangs in the balance.
Line out taken by Carney. A little over 10 minutes to go in Dublin, with a Champions Cup quarter-final to be won. Somebody's lost a boot.
It's Ryan, James Ryan. I think he's driven his foot out of the back of it.
It's just been a monumental scrap. Leinster with the penalty.
16 from the side and pulling down.
Rob Herring offside and then pulling down, so they'll have the kick at goal should they want it. Do they take the kick at goal? Do they?
Well, it's a long way out.
For the touchline?
Can he kick it?
I think this is one where you hedge your bets a little bit. It's not a shot to nothing, so maybe
we go.
keep that pressure on and go to the corner.
What are you doing? Corner or shot?
And Rhys Ruddock and Ross Byrne are having a little two-man committee meeting here.
You don't want to be worrying about cramp either, do you, when you're taking that shot?
You know, huge credit to Ross Byrne. He's done exactly what you want your outside half to do, to take the decision away from the captain and say, do you know what, 3 points is going to be invaluable. Worst case scenario, you'd be hopeful that they'll get a 22 dropout as he loosens up his calf.
I will give you after then.
Here we go. Pretty much on one leg. Perhaps for a place in the European semi-final. What about it? On one leg, hobbling, but Ross the boss. And maybe the last four for Leinster. Still a long way to go.
Penalty for Leinster, scored by number 10, Ross Byrne.
sure that Ulster have identified that he's really struggling. He has to be very careful not to find himself isolated now in the defensive line. It would be easy pickings.
Andy Warwick has come on for Eric O'Sullivan, who was struggling before the kick.
He can barely walk now, Ross Byrne. Surely Leinster have to make the change.
Still no apparent movement down below as Rob Kearney remains the option. That's been lost by Lowry. Swung away by Fardy. Kicked away by Ringrose, but that's gone out on the full. Playing the advantage, and now here comes Rob Kearney. And there goes Ross Byrne. They're having to drag him off. He really doesn't want to lose, Brian, but he has to.
No, listen, you play the game to play in these big matches, these big moments, and if it stands as is, he's had one enormous moment in pushing Leinster forward into a semi-final, but a great effort from him, and now the hard work is left to the likes of Rob Kearney. Comes on for a fresh 8 minutes.
So Rob Kearney on. Ulster with 7 minutes to pull off some history. Woof. They have stolen that back. Timney initially controlling it. Here goes Herbst.
A whole new front row for Leinster. That's a worry, isn't it? That could become a pivotal opportunity to attack for Ulster.
Burns. Marshall. Oh no, did Marshall hold on to that? He did. McCloskey. And again it's Lowry. James Tracy driving through. Here's one of the Newmen, Andy Warwick, picked up by Murphy.
Yeah, Cooney's down though, so they've got no 9. He's cramped up. Stockdale's come in to try and play that position.
Herring flies it out to Burns. That's wonderfully done. Oh goodness, it's like Marshall's never been away.
That was not a pass of a man that's been out for the last 8 or 9 months.
Warwick. Ulster preparing to bring on Dave Shanahan and Alan O'Connor. John Cooney getting back to his feet. He's limping. Warwick again. Just inside their own half. Billy Burns, McCloskey.
He's been great, McCloskey, hasn't he? He's winning the collisions, getting offloads.
Murphy. He too, as you'd expect, has been prominent. There was the hint of a high tackle from Rhys Ruddock. On we go. Taken on by Stockdale. And again, we think of Stockdale dropping the ball over the try line. Start of the second half. And that was Kearney coming in, and he did well, and then he drives over the top of the ball. A lot of pressure on Lowry.
It's Leinster's won it.
Oh, that is brilliant work in defence. And now Fardy gratefully drives it away.
Yeah, he's had an outstanding game, Fardy. He's turned up for so many carries.
Back.
And again, signed up for a third season. Fardy, young family, loving Dublin life. Conan again. Repeat of the move that led to the try for Adam Byrne. Here's Tracy. All that big match experience now being decanted into this final 5 minutes for the defending champions. Ruddock. Tackled by Herbst. 15,000 Ulster folk lending their voices to the fray, trying to do what they can do. Meantime, it's Kearney for Leinster. Tracy. Ulster's defence has now got to be spotless. No concession of penalties here. Bang in front of the posts. Murphy digging for all his worth to try and win that back. And again, Ryan. Carney trundles round to clock on once more, but it's behind him. It's for the faster boys. It's Carney with a full tank of petrol. Right.
This is where there's no miracle ball is going to be thrown. 1 out runners is the order of the day. Just retaining possession, trying to milk a penalty.
What is there? What is there? What is here?
Ulster very fortunate there not to give away a penalty for not rolling away.
Leave it!
A mile offside as well.
While all this is going on, Leinster squeezing time out of the sponge. Tracy with Ryan riding side saddle. Carney. Rob Carney's looking interested away to the right. I don't think the forwards have any intention of losing control of it for the time being, but here goes Lama. John Cooney took a slap to the face as he went through. He's not part of this defensive line. Tracy looking to pierce it. 28th phase. Seconds continue to trickle away. Leinster continue to inch towards the semi-final.
Use it!
And Ulster have any more? Do they have any more inspiration on the ground where they won this thing 20 years ago? Is this to be the end of the road?
Leinster need to promote a better picture at the moment, making sure no players latching onto the ball carrier are going off their feet.
Into the final minute. Leinster have the ball and they're 5 metres from the try line. And Conan with his arms outstretched hopes to drive the ball forward an extra inch or two. This'll do. Ed Burns there. Rhys Ruddock, the captain, is there. It's Byrne who picks it up.
There was a time when Ulster get too narrow around this. To Leinster have the bottle to go for it. Is it the right decision to go for it? But Carney screaming for it on the left wing now.
39th phase. It feels like Leinster have held on to it for an hour. It's a set of carries that has won this quarter-final for them. Time is up, and into the stands and listen to the roar. The first time in Leinster's illustrious European history that in a quarter-final they have come from behind to win. But that's how hard Ulster pushed them. Almost Ulster heroics, almost but not quite. Once again, the European stories continue to be written by Leinster.
Well, just an unbelievable occasion to be at. Ulster turned up in the most brave fashion possible. They hit Leinster with everything they could early on. Leinster, as they always do, showed their champion quality and came back into it. But did Ulster fall away? No, they didn't. And it went right to the death. And that, you know, we talk about test match intensity. That was higher than test match intensity.
He's man of the match in the middle of all that.
Well, it's so many big performances. I think McCloskey for Ulster was brilliant. Vardy for Leinster was fantastic, but the man who really turned the game with that break from the base and his stats carrying and tackling are off the charts. My Heineken man of the match is Jack Conan.
Only imagine that Jacob Stockdale is thinking about the thing we were all talking about at the start of the second half, right?
There's only one thought going on in his head. You have to feel for him. But huge credit to Leinster. It wasn't vintage Leinster today, but they really had it put up to them. They are a resilient bunch, though. Even when they're below par, they find that extra gear necessary to just see through quality opposition. They would have known they were in for an absolute battle today, and Ulster didn't disappoint. But again, they've shown their European pedigree. Smallest of margins. Huge congrats, Leinster, on another semi-final.
Well, when Kieran Treadwell scored the early try for Ulster, we wondered. Ross Byrne brought Leinster back into the match, but it was Ulster who led at half-time. They should have stretched that lead when the ball was lost over the try line by Jacob Stockdale, but Adam Byrne put Leinster ahead for the first time. Luke Marshall's try suggested we might be on the verge of something historic from an Ulster perspective, but in the end, on one leg, Ross Byrne kicking the winning kick. And the man of the match was Jack Conan, and he is down with our Ross Harris on the pitch.
Well, Jack, congratulations. A brutal match of test match intensity. Just how hard was that to play?
Incredibly tough. Probably the toughest game I've played all year. Massive credit to Ulster. They came down here and threw the absolute kitchen sink us, and they're incredible, to be fair. I thought we gave them a few easy opportunities with lockdowns and penalties and genuine discipline, but hats off to them. They put in an incredible shift for 80 minutes. It's incredible to hear back in the Aviva, back in Leinster, have a full house. It means we're out to the lads, and it wasn't pretty today, but that's what championship sides do, to go out and, even when it's not good and it's not pretty, to go out and eke out a win. That's where we grinded out, and it's good.
It was always going to be a game, I think, that was won by one mistake or one inspired piece of play, and that run down the touchline from yourself and some delicate hands for the offload to Adam Byrne as well.
Yeah, I just wish I wasn't pulling up my shorts for about 20 metres. I were trying to get them back up. Yeah, look, there was just a hole there, and I was happened to be there at the right time, so nice to get a bit of open space. It's a bit frightening now when you see no one in front of you, you don't know what to do, but for Radzer, he's always there on your side, and always works so hard off the ball, so if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have got this up today that we did.
Congratulations, Jack. You are the Heineken man of the match, and here's Pat Maher with your trophy.
Tough 80 minutes. I'll give this back to him.